Pink is for Frankfurt, lavender is London, orange is Bohemia, Copenhagen's grey. Here lies all Europe, colorful and peaceful. Wouldn't it be pleasant if it were this way? Blue, gray, orange, pink, with colored ink, they have made all the countries and cities orderly and pretty. Isn't it a pity? This is just a map. No sign of soldiers, no advancing armies, not a sign of battles, bayonets or guns. No heartsick people, no distracted fathers, no bewildered mothers. We're the only ones. When I lived in Italy, one of my jobs was writing restaurant reviews. Somebody had to do it. And one day I happened into a village, Civitella, and I did, as usual, I stopped at a bar for an aperitivo, and there was something that just wasn't quite right. Couldn't put my finger on it. So I went to the restaurant, had a fabulous lunch, and after lunch, as was my habit, I went to another bar for a digestivo. And again, I couldn't put my finger on what was wrong. Then I put on my Rick Steves hat, became the tour guide, and climbed around the ruined castle, walked around the main street where old ladies dressed in black were sweeping their front steps, and I got to a tiny piazza outside the village church. The church had a surprisingly modern facade, and I walked up and read the inscription on the metal frame that surrounded the door. It was peace in every language I could think of. Pei, pace, shalom, salam. I continued around the square and I found one of those plaques that explains to the tourists what had happened there. And suddenly, I knew what was wrong in those bars. Normally, there are old men playing cards and gossiping in all the bars in Italy at lunchtime. And there were no old men in these bars. And that's because on June 29th, 1944, 104 men and boys, some drugged from Mass where they were celebrating that morning, had been taken into the square and shot in retaliation for the death of 2 German soldiers. Pace, Pei, Shalom.